Morning. Welcome back to Ty Sports Picks 24. You see it on the screen right there. Ty Sports Picks 24. I'm still getting used to StreamYard, but I thank you guys for joining me again to the number one growing sports gambling picks channel on YouTube. Sorry, fixing my shirt. And also really quick before I get to the picks, we have it at the bottom ticker. You see the TikTok, the Instagram, and also the Cash App. I'm gonna bring it up at the end again, but really quick, if you want to donate to the show, this is the Cash App. You see $TY Rebel 22. So I'd appreciate any donations to help the channel grow, to help finance, the StreamYard, the suits I wear, and just everything, a mic, because we want to get the channel just up and going. So I'll pull that up again later on in the show. But let's get with the picks. Now you see the title is Football Friday. I got to point this way, left is right, right is left. Yeah, so see Football Friday under my name. It's a lot of football going on. I don't know if you guys saw New England last night. They basically demolished the Panthers. I couldn't even remember who played because they didn't really show up. But shout out to the Panthers for fighting hard. And then we also had the Giants handle business against the Lions after all of that fighting they had in the open joint practices. So now with the NFL picks, we have the Pittsburgh Steelers first half spread, first half money line. Then we have the Baltimore Ravens first half spread, first half money lines. Now, if you want to do your own picks, I would advise you to go to orlads.com and look up the second and third strings because they play predominantly. That's why we're more doing first half spreads because we know we can kind of trust the first and the second team guys. You should be more familiar with starters and rotational guys. There's a lot of good football played yesterday. I hope you guys made a lot of money. I think we went 1 out of 2. Because I had the Panthers to stay within 6.5. Unfortunately, they lost. I believe 17-3. But we did big time with the Giants. A lot of people didn't expect that. You're not right all the time, but I'm right most of the time. So lock those in. You got Pittsburgh first half spread, and then you got Baltimore first half spread, and also first half money line, not spread, money line, because you get more money with the money line with Baltimore. Now with Pittsburgh, you're gonna do a first half spread and first half money line. Yeah, a little tricky. I'm getting used to it, All right, now let's go to the MLB picks. Baseball, we got the Washington Nationals. Hold on. Let me just make sure that's the correct picks. It's gonna look kind of strange. Washington Nationals, we got San Diego. Okay, no, I don't. That's incorrect. Give me a second, let me fix it. But the picks actually are gonna be the Washington. No, it's not the Washington Nationals. It's gonna be the Twins. Sorry, we having technical difficulties. It's actually gonna be the Twins. So I'm gonna erase that. But you can write it down as I'm doing it live. This is a live show. Sorry. Sometimes you make mistakes. I didn't save it. But this is going to be all money line. We got the Twins. We got the Los Angeles Angels. We have the Rays. We have the New York Yankees. And I can see some people probably in the back saying, hey, you got to be prepared. I was prepared, but for some reason it was a technical difficulty and the picks didn't save. But that's okay. At least I'm live and I'm not doing this recorded because we have to do this right after the show is broadcasting. All of these are going to be money lines, so I'm going to put all money lines. Sorry about that. I apologize. Won't happen again, you guys. So here it goes. This is today's picks for Friday, Football Friday, August 9th. So you got your NFL picks, but this is the MLB picks. We're going to have the Twins, Minnesota Twins, money line. We have Los Angeles Angels, money line. Tampa Bay Rays, money line. New York Yankees, money line. Toronto Blue Jays, money line. And then we have the Chicago Cubs, money line. So it says all money line. Hold on. All money line. You see it right there. And also at the bottom, if you see, follow me on all platforms. If you'd like to donate, it's $TY Rebel 22 in the Cash App at the bottom. And follow me on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram at TY Sports 24. At TY Sports 24. I'm sorry. No, I'm wrong. At TY Sports Picks 24. So I'll just let the bottom ticker tell you what it is. At TY Sports Picks 24. You see down at the bottom? So TY Sports Picks 24. Okay, sorry about the unprofessionalism, but you know I always say this is the unprofessional show. Now, let's get to my alma mater really quick. For all you guys that don't know, I played ball at Ole Miss. I'm an Ole Miss Rebel. See if I can pull up this background. I'm kind of playing with things as we doing it. It's not gonna let me do it, I guess. Hold on, give me 1 second. Okay, forget it. Maybe next time. I had a nice little Ole Miss background that I was gonna show you guys, but maybe you have to do it before the show. But that's fine. We'll get to Ole Miss. Now, running back was a major issue when we lost Quinshon Judkins. Now, he was a 3-star out of the state of Georgia that Lane Kiffin actually discovered when he was not as heavily recruited. But he started, well, he actually didn't even start. He rotated with an NFL running back by the name of Zach Evans. Go check him out. Shout out to him, Ole Miss Rebel. That came from TCU, was a 5-star, was compared to Adrian Peterson. He got 1,000, but Quinshon actually got 1,500 as a true freshman that same year, rotating with a 1,000-yard back. Well, I think 900, 1,000-yard back. Zach Evans that plays for the Rams now, and he broke out. Then he had a pretty good all SEC year last year as a true sophomore. Now, if you play in college football 25 by EA Sports, he's the most unstoppable player on the game. They had to actually do a reboot patch and fix the game because his spin move was breaking everybody. Nobody could tackle Quinshon Judkins. He transferred to Ohio State. So everybody's like, Ole Miss running game is going to be their weakness. Wrong. We went and got a running back that used to be at Ole Miss, went to Miami and came back, Henry Parrish, but now he's put on about 10 pounds. Yeah, he's not the same Henry Parrish that you saw at Miami. When you see this guy getting extra yards, running guys over, because he already was physical, but now he put on weight. And not only that, we have a guy named Ulysses Bennett, Ulysses Bentley, named after his father, his grandfather. It's a prideful name in his family. And he's going to bring a lot of pride to his family with the way he runs, because he was always a home run threat, but he also put on about 10 or 15 pounds like Henry Parrish. And going along with that, they have a closing back by the name of Rashad Amos that was actually committed to Coach Prime in Colorado, but Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss gave him an offer he couldn't refuse, like the mob, and basically he's going to be the closeout guy. But luckily for Amos, he's not going to have to do that much closing because the two scat backs have actually put on extra weight so they can take a little bit of the load. And with Ulysses Bennett, he's very good in the passing game and he's a home run hitter. And then when you got Henry Parrish, he's a do-it-all guy. So that means for short yardage, goal line, fourth quarter, third quarter, Rashad Amos, you just got to do your job to close it out. Those smaller guys, they're really going to show out. And we're also still in the running for 5-star number 1 running back in the country, top running back in Mississippi, Kylan Deere. So look out for that because he decommitted. And then people thought he was automatically going to Alabama. And they were loud and wrong. It looks like he's going to be turning around and going back to the Rebels. And speaking of Ole Miss Rebels and speaking of my Miami Dolphins, shout out to the Dolphins. Shout out to Ole Miss. 2 teams I love. I didn't even know. Well, I actually did know, but I forgot about it. One of my childhood heroes, Tim Bowens, the old Miami Dolphins legend. He's originally from Ocala, Mississippi. He was 6'4", 325. If you're a Dolphin fan in the 90s, you remember him. He was a first-round pick, number 20 in the first round in 1994. He played from 94 to 2004, only Dolphin. No free agency. No, I want a bigger contract. I'm going to the Jets. No disrespect. But he stuck it with the Dolphins for 10 years straight. He was the defensive rookie of the year in 94. 2-time Pro Bowler, and they actually robbed him because 98 and 2002 when he went to the Pro Bowl, those were average years. There were some years I saw when I was looking at his stats where he should have went to the Pro Bowl. So he really should be about a 4 or 5-time Pro Bowler. He was on the all rookie team, and now he's been inducted into the Miami Dolphins Ring of Honor when they play against the Arizona Cardinals at home, and I believe in October this year. So all you Dolphin fans, whether you're at home watching whether you go to the game, let's all give a round of applause and let's support our Miami Dolphin legend Tim Bowens. He may not be an NFL Hall of Famer, but he's an Ole Miss Hall of Famer, and now he's a Dolphin Hall of Famer. So way to go, Dolphins, way to go, Rebels, and way to go, Tim Bowens. I'm proud of you, man. You were definitely an inspiration as a kid. You know, I was a tall kid. I wasn't big like that, but I used to play defensive line, and you wanted to be like Tim Bowens. You wanted to be like Jason Taylor. So congratulations to you. He also was all SEC in 1993 at Ole Miss. So this guy been doing it, because I heard the guy on Locked On Ole Miss speaking about the defensive line from the early 90s. I'm like, what is he talking about? That's before my time. He probably was talking about Tim Bowens. So let's move along. Well, actually, let's go to some other Dolphin news. There's another guy that was an All-American, All-Conference guy in college. He's actually getting a lot of reps because the TJ Washington guy from USC, which also was a great receiver, he's hurt. He's on IR, and so is Odell Beckham. I think they're just holding Odell Beckham back into the regular season, which I don't necessarily agree with. I think he needs to get some burn. But Malik Washington, he broke all kind of records in college. Malik Washington was leading in yards and yards at the catch and touchdowns. Like, he's big time. He's not that big of a guy. He's small, kind of like the Waddle. He's more like a Tyreek Hill than a Waddle, though. But he's a small, shifty guy, not as fast, but very quick. But Malik Washington really has a chance to do something for the Dolphins. He's making a lot of waves in training camp, so we're going to see what he does tonight, because the Dolphins do play the Atlanta Falcons tonight, even though I didn't put that on the ticket for the picks. You know, an old gambling rule, you never bet with or against your team unless you're sure, because a lot of people get emotional. So all you Dolphin fans, I wouldn't bet the Dolphin game. I would bet the Pittsburgh game, and I would bet the other game. It's slipping my mind right now. I would bet the Pittsburgh game, and I would bet the Baltimore game. So yeah, Baltimore and Philly would be something to bet, and then the Pittsburgh game would be something to bet. So yeah, now let's move on to another topic that a lot of you guys tune in for. The U. Yeah, Miami Hurricanes, Florida State, ACC. Why am I mentioning all of these guys in one? I know the Hurricanes don't want to be mentioned with Florida State, but this is very interesting on both sides. You know, there's a lot going on with Athlon Sports. I saw Coach Hayes speaking on Athlon Sports. So I'm not the only one that's using some of their material and reacting to it. You know, shout out to Athlon. But they had put out a list about the ACC. And some people were not really a fan of this list. This list about the ACC, some of you guys are going to agree. Some of you guys are going to disagree, as always. But basically, they were talking about bowl projections for the ACC and where they see people finishing. And basically, if we look in it, it has give me 1 second. Sorry about that. Okay, so it has Florida State actually coming in the playoff as the 3 seed, playing against Texas in the Peach Bowl in the second round. It doesn't say who's going to win, but it has Florida State coming out. But it has SMU going to the Gasparilla Bowl playing against the Florida Gators. So, go Gators. Go down. SMU, we're not messing with you. Then it has Georgia Tech playing in the Birmingham Bowl. I was in the Birmingham Bowl. I didn't get in. Against South Carolina. Then it has Clemson versus Oklahoma State in the Pop-Tart Bowl. So that's kind of disrespectful, you know. Didn't 50 Cent tell Ja Rule, you sweet like a Pop-Tart, you soft in the middle? You know, you're like a Pop-Tart, sweetheart, you soft in the middle. Shout out to 50. No, shout out to Ja Rule, too. Where would I be without my baby again? I don't know. Okay, then we got the Fenway Bowl in Fenway Park. That's in the baseball stadium. Super disrespectful. It's a bowl game. You playing in the snow. They got Syracuse and East Carolina. Then Pinstripe Bowl. They have Maryland versus NC State. That's an old ACC matchup. Maryland used to be an ACC team. Then they got Boston College versus South Florida in the Military Bowl. In the Sun Bowl, they got Carolina versus Coach Prime in Colorado. Then in the Gator Bowl, they got LSU versus Miami. So they're saying Athlon doesn't have Miami in the playoff. Wrong, disrespect. In the word of the Jamaicans, you're gone too far. Come on, man. How you gonna disrespect the U? They definitely going to the playoffs. And the ACC doesn't have Miami, doesn't have Clemson in the playoff. But how do they have the 3 seed? That doesn't even make sense. So we got the 3 seed behind the Big Ten and the SEC, ahead of the Big 12. But we can't get 2 teams in a 12-team playoff. Okay. And I'm an SEC guy, but I'm saying we for the Miami Hurricane and Florida State fans. Okay, now the Mayo Bowl, the Duke's Mayo Bowl, Rutgers versus Louisville. I could believe that. Holiday Bowl, Virginia Tech and Washington. That would be good. Colin Drones from Virginia Tech's a bad boy. And then finally, we have the Los Angeles Bowl, which would be Cal versus Boise State. Cal, they're off and on. They're sporadic, but they can be good sometimes, and Boise State's always good. They're pretty much a reliable team. So it's a lot going on, but that's not it. Another thing with Athlon Sports, the mouth of the South, the mouth of the SEC, you already know, your favorite uncle, your favorite granddad, Paul Feinbaum. It says Paul Feinbaum in quotes. Paul Feinbaum names SEC contender with no chance at 10 wins. Now, I'm not an A&M guy, but that's disrespectful. Remember, that was the catapult for last year for Tyler Van Dyke in the 4-0 Miami Hurricanes when we thought the U was back. And Texas A&M has Mike Elko from Duke that kind of trained up Riley Leonard, which is going to be the quarterback for Notre Dame this year when they face A&M. He also has his own quarterback now. Nussmont. No, I can't think of A&M. What's A&M's quarterback name? Well, no, what? I'll look in the article. Sorry about that. I know the coach is Elko, but the quarterback, is it Wiseman? All I know is basically, Texas A&M is a pretty deep roster. They're a dope team. So for somebody to say that they're gonna go 7-5, which is what he said they may go 8-4 or 7-5. My thing is, I don't agree. I haven't done a season preview on them, but to say that they have no chance, that's strong. To say they have no chance at 10 wins. Connor Wigman. Again, this show is live, so it's live for real. We're not previously recording it, so I make mistakes sometimes. So Connor Wigman is the guy's name. He's big time, 5-star recruit. Remember, they were blowing Miami out. Miami came back and blew them out. They had like a 17-point lead or something crazy like that, and then Miami, put them paws on them. So it wasn't like this guy's a pushover. He got hurt, and A&M season kind of was ruined. So that already shows you that he's a factor. So I don't know if Paul Feinbaum took him into account because he's still kind of young, and Elko is a heck of a coach. So I don't necessarily have them for 10 wins, but I won't say no chance. That's crazy. All right, now, Florida Gators. I'm going to say it again. Florida Gators. Yeah, man. It's a lot going on in Gator camp. We all know Coach Billy Napier's job's on the line, but he's not paying it any attention. But they got a lot good going on in that camp at UF. The defensive line kind of had a scuffle, pretty much led by a guy named Joey Slackman coming from the Ivy League, but he's very smart, but he's also very good on the football field. He was all Ivy League, I believe from Harvard, something like that. He didn't start the fight, but he's just been lifting up the tone and making guys do it right and just lifting up the effort because they had a lot of great recruits at Florida. The problem was it was a culture thing that needed to change. And with him coming from the FCS but being successful, he's just happy to be there in the SEC and he's not going for it. And it's kind of getting infections to the point where it was kind of like a back and forth between some linemen. It kind of got physical, but it wasn't too much because guys were going slow in the drills. And they got to understand people are watching them. Also, I want to clear up Coach JB, the JB show. He was speaking on Zipper, the tight end. He had a knee brace on. So that video you're seeing of the Florida Gator tight end where he's kind of like jogging through the drill and then he kind of hits the bag lazy. He's coming off an injury. But what I will say, if things aren't up to par, maybe don't put those out to the media because everybody's watching. Recruits are watching. The parents are watching. Other teams are watching. Media personalities are watching. And some do their homework and some don't. I understand that sometimes you can't control everything that comes out. You're concerned with your team, but with the media teams of these schools, I've mentioned LSU, I've mentioned Arkansas, I mentioned Ole Miss. You need to be executing and moving fast on these videos. Or if you're not, it needs to progress and put out a video the next day showing that you're fixing it. Like Florida State, to go back to them, they're fixing that receiver problem. Coach Ron Dugas was speaking about Malik Benson not being his only guy. The LSU transfer, Jaylen Brown, is coming along. And then Elijah Moore, the freshman, is coming along. And I think they're just trying to keep him on the hush because they want him to be a surprise. He got the same body type as kind of like a Keon Coleman or Johnny Wilson, big, tall dude out of the DMV. Also, LaWayne McCoy. Everybody knows about him from Miami Central. He went viral for the do the Wheezy dance. LaWayne McCoy. He may have to play early. Probably thought he was on red shirt, but with Destin Hill being hurt and with some of the guys like Kentron Portier and number 21, I can't think of his name. They're still dropping balls, getting open, but dropping balls. So they might have to move on from some of the veterans, and it might be a mixture of veterans and a mixture of youth of red shirt freshmen and freshmen playing. Now, USA basketball. We are proud, we're embarrassed, we're scared, we're excited, all in one. Now, KD, after his performance, is now being said to be known as the greatest Olympian basketball player of all time, I guess statistically speaking. Now, on the flip side with Serbia, in this 95-91 win by USA, is the Joker not a joke? Him and Bogdanović, Joker put up 17, Bogdanović put up, I believe, like 23. They were blowing the U.S. out. They had the U.S. on the ropes. Steph Curry had to almost break the U.S. Olympic point record. By 1 point, he's missed it. Carmelo had 37 back in the day. Steph Curry had 36. He put his team on his back. He completed 9 3-pointers. LeBron had a triple-double. Embiid had to hit a lot of shots. Remember when they were making fun of Embiid? Why is he on the team? We see now why. So as far as going to the NBA season for the 24-25, you already know Joker is teamed up with Westbrook. Do we have to watch out for the Denver Nuggets? Is Joker gonna look for Olympic payback in the regular season of the NBA? And also in the 2028 Olympics, will Serbia gear up again? Because from what I understand, this Serbia team, it has some NBA players too, but also they've been training with each other every year for like the past 8 to 10 summers. They've been together. They're basically like a team because they play all those international games. So you can't be so rough on the U.S. team. But I think all of that will beat the dream team from 92 talk. We need to stop that. Now, I will say this. There's a lot more international players, better international ball being played, and the rules are different. It isn't as physical of a game. I don't like comparing eras. This is the NBA 2K My Era. And even then, you see what it says, My Era. It doesn't say every era mixing because they're playing different rules and it's hack and shack and all this different stuff. Even Jordan didn't win in the 80s. He won in the 90s. So we got to stop comparing different eras. But I think people need to stop comparing the dream team and this team. I don't know what we're going to call them. The Supreme Team, I think they already used that for the old LeBron and Carmelo and Wade. I don't know what we're going to call it. We're going to call this the 24 team. Just the 24 U.S. team. It's cool. The 24 team. Like Thai Sports 24, USA 24. USA 24, I don't know if they would beat the dream team strictly off of talent, but maybe off of playing as a team, even though they haven't been together any longer than the dream team did. But they've went against a lot of tough competition, a lot of NBA-led teams. Even in the finals, they're going to face France, which France overcame Canada, overcame Germany, which were the favorites to be the runner-up for the silvers and for the silver and the bronze. But now it's looking more like I don't know how it works. Bronze, I would get a bronze to Serbia. They really should be the silver, but they've met US too early because they're probably better than France. But France, it's the Victor Wembanyama show. If he's showing up like this in the Olympics, are the Spurs going to the playoffs? And I know you guys are like, oh, this is an Olympic topic. Yeah, but I'm an American, so I'm still looking at our league, the NBA, which is the greatest league in the world. But we got to watch out. We got to take a lot into account what's going on in these Olympics. First, U.S., I want you to win that gold, finish the job tomorrow. But also stop all of that dream team talk, because the USA basketball 20-on-4, I don't know if they to the same level as the dream team. Now, on this football Friday, Joe Milton, didn't I tell you guys about him? And even I was wrong. What I say, like 6'4", 6'3"? I didn't even know this joke is Cam Newton size, or just under. He is 6'5", 246. He dropped weight from 260, running a 4.4, and can stand still and throw the ball 80 to 70, 75 to 80 yards. But now he's getting better. I saw yesterday with the dink and dunk short passes. So Drake May, be on notice, because New England Patriots have a history of moving off early round quarterbacks for late round quarterbacks. Remember Mac Jones and Bailey Zappi. Even Bailey Zappi, which was the late round sensation, though he didn't maintain it. He's on watch to not make the roster or possibly get traded to a team that needs a quarterback, because he can play. He played okay yesterday, but Joe Milton wasn't okay. Joe Milton was big-time box office. Joe Milton was just showing me that maybe the guys at Tennessee didn't really know how to hone his skills, because that happens sometimes. You'll be good at dealing with certain type of quarterbacks, but other quarterbacks, you can win with them, but you may not be able to cultivate them. Like, look at Jalen Hurts. He won at Alabama, but he wasn't like Tua or like the Mac Jones, versus when he went to to Lincoln Riley, he really became a real quarterback. Same thing when he went to Philly and had that offensive coordinator that they had for the 22 season when they went to the Super Bowl. And probably this year with Kellen Moore. So sometimes it's like a marriage, certain coordinators bring the best out of certain players. But Joe Milton, I'm not going to lie. I was talking to an older gentleman yesterday speaking on it. And Joe Milton is not a 4th-round pick. He's a 6th-round pick. Tom Brady was 6th round. Antonio Brown was 6th round. A lot of a lot of Hall of Famers were 6th round. I don't know what it is about that round. But I'll say this. What I saw from Joe Milton, Drake May, maybe the Patriots have to eat that contract. I know it's kind of early, but we already were hearing about Joe Milton in practice. Then we see it in the game. This is why all these teams that don't play their starters, you can mess around and get your position took. Just like in the regular season, it can even happen in the preseason. We saw the Victor Cruzes. We've seen guys, Antonio Brown, John Brown. We've seen guys pop up. And I know those aren't quarterbacks, but we've seen guys that have popped up and made a name for themselves just based off of what they did in the preseason. Like, the preseason is being taken lightly at times, but it can't always be taken lightly. And that goes to my next topic, which is going to be starters playing. Buffalo, yesterday the Patriots already did it, so I'm late on the news. But the Patriots are doing it. And the Chiefs with Patrick Mahomes, with him having a lot of moving parts, particularly Hollywood Brown, and we're not knowing what's going on with Rasheem Rice and Xavier Worthy having to work on getting off of the jams. I wouldn't play Travis Kelce probably more than a series, but they're playing the starters probably a half from what I'm hearing. But also, before we close, I actually got a list of guys. I don't know if you can see it. It's a list of guys that have been breakouts since the year 2000 in preseason. So for all you guys that are like, oh, it's just preseason games. Danny Amendola, Super Bowl champ, got discovered in preseason. Robbie Anderson, discovered in preseason. Antonio Brown, discovered in preseason. John Brown, discovered in preseason. Marcus Colston for the Saints, discovered in preseason. Victor Cruz, discovered in preseason, baby. Chris Harris, the cornerback from Denver. That's big time, baby. Jason Kelce, Hall of Famer. George Kittle, Hall of Famer. Raheem Mostert, the fastest running back in the NFL. Pro Bowler, led the NFL in touchdowns last year. Alfred Morris had multiple 15, 13, 1,200-yard rushing years in Washington with RG3. Malcolm Rodriguez, the fullback. Tony Romo himself, Mr. Jessica Simpson, preseason. Dak Prescott, preseason. Wes Welker, preseason. Danny Woodhead, Super Bowl champ, preseason. Russell Wilson, preseason. So don't sleep on these preseason games, baby. So I hope you guys tune in tonight. Again, if you guys didn't see the picks, let me go back to the picks again. NFL picks. We got a first half spread, Pittsburgh Steelers. First half money line, Pittsburgh Steelers. We got first half money line, Baltimore Ravens. So I'm gonna let you guys look at that for a second. I hope you guys got it. And then also, let's go with the MLB picks. You got the Twins, you got the Angels, you got the Rays, the Yankees, the Blue Jays, and the Cubs. All money line. We're not doing MLB spreads. We don't trust them. So take that down. And then lastly, before we leave, let me find it really quick. So you guys put those picks in. If you didn't get those picks, you see it at the bottom. It's going around the ticker at Ty Sports Picks 24 on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Ty Sports Picks 24. But if you would like to donate to the channel, it's $TY Rebel 22 at Cash App. So you see the Cash App at the bottom, $TY Rebel 22. Let me pull it back up. I would appreciate you guys' donations. So you can scan that, or you can just type it into your Cash App. If you like to donate, I would really appreciate you and thank you guys. That's actually the Instagram right there. So you see the Ty Sports Picks 24, but the Cash App is $TY Rebel 22. I would definitely appreciate you guys' donations. You know, StreamYard is costly. The suits, the preparation. We really just want to grow this show and make it a professional podcast and really do great things. I thank you guys for joining us and put those picks in. And let's go watch the games.